Hello and welcome everyone to episode 159 of the Living Healthy Today podcast. And also, this is video number 3 in our 10 video series on detox and cleansing. My name is Carol Lee Cohen. I'm a certified nutritionist, health and wellness consultant, sports nutritionist, weight management consultant, master nutritionist, and probably most importantly, as the patient and consumer looking to work with my own health issues and just really trying to find stuff that works and dealing with digestive issues and keeping everything moving through the digestive tract, which is going to be today's topic, is something that I've had a lot of personal experience with. I've also had experience as a supplement manufacturer and advising on formulation, and also in working with other people to help them with their health. So what I'm going to share with you today, some of the information may be new to you. Some of it's going to go against mainstream information, but what I always try to look at is what actually works. Like what is actually done in the emergency room when there's a problem. That's a good clue as to what actually works. What can we do to keep us out of the emergency room, personal experience, and then what's working for other people. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Remember that the following information in this podcast is for informational purposes only, not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The statements presented here have not been evaluated by the FDA. You should always consult with a qualified healthcare professional, but you should also do your own research and consult your own common sense. So this is video number 3 in our detox and cleansing series, where we're going to talk about ways to keep everything moving through the digestive tract. So our focus today is going to be on keeping that small intestine, the stomach, and the large intestine or the colon cleansed and everything flowing through, because if we don't, it's going to flush back up into the kidneys, into the liver, into the bloodstream, into the lymph system. And this is where we start to have a lot of illness and a lot of disease and just feeling really poorly. So we're going to try to keep the main system flushed to take all the pressure off the other detox organs. So let's talk about what happens with sluggish elimination. So we've heard for so long that health or disease begins in the gut, and it really, really does. Because if we have sluggish elimination, just a few of the things that we get are inflammation throughout the body. We have extra weight. There can be many, many extra pounds sitting around in that long, small intestinal tract. We have fatigue and brain fog because we have toxins feeding back up into the liver and the kidneys and the bloodstream. This is actually a very, very common thing that happens with constipation that most people overlook, and they just think, oh, I'm stressed out, or I didn't get enough sleep last night. And really, it's actually toxicity. Extra waste sitting around in the small intestine, the colon, or the stomach is the perfect breeding ground for parasites, for fungal, viral, and bacterial infections. Think about how garbage draws flies and other disgusting creatures. That's exactly what happens in your intestines if they're not being flushed out on a regular basis. Another thing that's often overlooked is that sluggish elimination leads to an increase in all diseases, including autoimmune conditions, food allergies, digestive problems, and even a whole lot of cancers. So this is a core health issue that isn't just about a one-time cleanse or detox that we want to do once a year. This is a core health metric that needs to be taken care of every day, all the time, and is such an easy thing to do to help stay on top of your health and help yourself feel better and have that vibrant energy that you want. So I want to address a major misconception right off the bat about what is considered constipation, because I get this all the time from people. They think they might be dealing with sluggish elimination, but they ask their doctor or they Google it and they're like, no, I'm not. Because the official definition of constipation is it means having hard, dry bowel movements or passing stool fewer than 3 times a week. Wrong. That is such a not true statement. And if you want to have health issues and if you want to have problems, then follow that recommendation. But if you feel like you're not feeling like yourself, then consider what we in natural medicine look at and what experience has taught us really helps people feel well. Because if you're using the restroom less than 3 times a week, you are in huge trouble. You're in huge danger of all these things we just talked about, that extra inflammation, the brain fog, the weight, having that extra breeding ground for all these things that we don't want, all these infections, these autoimmune conditions, and so many other diseases. Because the way elimination works, and if you think about, do you ever just leave food scraps sitting in your kitchen sink for 2 or 3 days? Of course not. You either put them in your trash can, your garbage bucket, or you put them down your garbage disposal right away. Why? Because they're going to start to ferment. They're going to start to stink. They're going to start to grow mold, right? And the same thing is true in our bodies. We do not want the waste from what we're eating to sit in our digestive tract at all. We want it out as quickly as possible. We want our food to go in, our supplements to go in, the body to take it in, absorb it, use what it needs, and send the rest of it out through the elimination channels. So if you're looking for good health, constipation is anything less than 1 to 3 bowel movements a day. If you're eating, you should be eliminating waste every single day. And this is such a key path to good health. And a lot of people don't believe this until they experience it. And then they're like, oh, now that I'm living this, I know what you're talking about. This happens in small children a lot too, and in babies. Moms will say, why is my baby cranky? Why do they seem colicky? Why does their stomach seem tender? And so often it's this core issue. They're constipated and not using the restroom enough, and they just feel icky. They're not overtly sick, but they feel gross. And if we increase bowel elimination, we have a much happier baby. Well, we as adults are just bigger babies, and our digestive tract still works the same way. So whether it's a baby or an adult, you kind of want to think along the terms of, if you're eating, you should be eliminating toxins. And this is why this should be happening at least once a day, preferably in that 2 to 3 range. There is some variation in people and on diet, of course, but if you're eating, at least once a day at an absolute minimum. So don't ever let your doctor or WebMD or Google fool you into thinking that as long as I'm having a few bowel movements a week, I'm good. No, you're not. Not if you're looking for healthy, vibrant energy and lowering that risk of disease. So what is the thing that the body naturally uses to help eliminate toxicity? And this actually is true. It doesn't matter if we're talking about bowel movements, you're trying to eliminate like heavy metals or do a liver detox or kidney detox. This is actually the #1 mineral that the body uses for that, and that's magnesium. Magnesium is the #1 thing that we need to keep that digestive tract moving and elimination happening. It is also essential for countless other critical functions in the body. Now, I'm going to talk to you a lot about magnesium and how to use it for elimination today, because I want you to fully understand the importance of magnesium, because what I don't want you to do is solve your constipation, but overlook all the other things that magnesium can do for you and all the other health conditions that can be easily improved just by optimizing magnesium levels. So the average American diet provides only 40%, less than half the magnesium that we all need in a day. That means that you've got to take in 60% through supplemental sources. And the refining and processing of food can reduce magnesium by 82 to 97%, i.e., that means that the way our food is manufactured, that it is the magnesium that was in the soil is being stripped out through the manufacturing process. And magnesium is not something we keep putting back into the soil, so our soils become more and more and more depleted. And none of our animals or really any of our crops are supplemented with magnesium. You know, one of the reasons that our calcium levels are actually better in America are because our dairy products, we give our cattle calcium. we don't give them magnesium. And as a result, we are all running chronically low in magnesium. So we're low before we even get started. And this is before we even encounter toxins or have health issues. So magnesium is a crucial emergency room medicine. It is used in very high doses when dealing with all of the following things. And I'm going to say that it should be used. There is definitely a difference in levels of care, but if you have a smart emergency room, this is what's going to happen. It's used in premature labor. It helps to both relax the muscles so contractions will stop, and it also just helps to calm the whole body and gives the body more of a, hey, maybe this is, we don't want to go here right now, right? Because it's too early. Preeclampsia, any type of eclampsia, which is characterized, among other things, by very high blood pressure. They will give IV magnesium in either one of these situations in very, very high doses. Dangerously high blood pressure. Yes, they will probably put you on something that also blocks calcium. They'll use some drugs, but magnesium will be used if you're in a critical state. They can use magnesium as an attempt to stop active heart attacks and strokes in progress. In fact, if the magnesium is applied at the right time, in the right dose in these situations, we can completely eliminate the damage and actually stop what's occurring. To deal with extremely painful muscle cramps. Again, sometimes they like to use the pain drugs, I know, but if they're paying attention, they'll also do magnesium. I've actually had people with so much pain that morphine wouldn't stop it, high doses of morphine, and when they took high doses of magnesium on their own, the cramps stopped. That's how important magnesium is for muscle cramps. And if you ever go into the hospital because you're so constipated and you need some help, do you know that high dose magnesium is the first thing they're going to give you? They're going to try that before they do any type of surgical intervention or any type of enema, because they know how the body works. And that's only a few of the top things that they use magnesium for just in the ER. So magnesium is considered a master mineral. In fact, of the 60 to 70 that are essential that we have to get every day and the body can't make on their own, it might be the most essential. It fully supports optimal circulation and blood pressure, cellular energy production, and calm nervous system, pain relief and relaxed muscles, bone density and calcium balance, joints and ligament flexibility, deep sleep patterns, and more. During the last 40 years, thousands of studies and research documents have been published proving that magnesium is a crucial nutrient supporting more than 300 functions in your body. So, in addition to constipation, how would you know that you might be low on magnesium? Chronic headaches. These could be low-grade or migraine headaches, eyelid twitches, knee, joint, or back stiffness, tight or stiff neck or shoulder muscles. If you're that person that wants to go see the chiropractor or the massage therapist all the time, that's a dead giveaway. Why? Because magnesium is all about relaxing muscles. So anywhere we have muscles that are tight, magnesium will help relax it. When it comes to constipation itself, the digestive tract is a giant set of muscles, really. And we need two things for peristalsis. We need calcium to contract and magnesium to relax. As I already mentioned, most people are getting maybe not optimal levels of calcium, but some calcium, and they're needing that magnesium to relax. And as those two opposing motions happen, the contract, relax, that digestive tract moves and it pushes those toxins, it pushes that stool on through. Even more signs that you might be low on magnesium: trouble falling asleep, even when you're tired. This is especially the case if you just have a hard time falling asleep. You often feel tense and it's hard to relax. Leg cramps, muscle cramps, or spasms, especially at night. And the reason it's at night is because your body's trying to repair and heal. And so it's like, oh, you're not using your legs. Let me pull the magnesium from there to try and repair the other parts. And then your legs cramp because they don't have enough magnesium to relax. You often feel cold, especially after weight loss. A lot of people just assume this is their thyroid, but magnesium is actually super important for regulating body temperature. Absolutely crucial in blood pressure issues, especially if that top number is high. The bottom number is more of a kidney problem, but the top number is a magnesium issue. And then chocolate cravings. Why chocolate? Because chocolate is something that if the magnesium is in the soil, chocolate has a tendency to concentrate magnesium. So it actually can be a very high magnesium food. Look, we all love chocolate. I'm not against chocolate, but if you're craving it to a ridiculous degree, you probably are low on magnesium. Women get this especially during cycles when they need more magnesium. So you can keep that in mind as well. Try it and you'll be surprised. I'm sure you'll still love chocolate like me, but you won't need as much. So as you can tell from this list, magnesium addresses a huge amount of health concerns that are incredibly common in modern day society. Now, when we talk about magnesium, one of the things you need to know is that there are different kinds of magnesium. There's many different kinds, in fact, and certain kinds of magnesium help you use the restroom. Certain kinds of magnesium help your muscles to be relaxed. Certain kinds of magnesium are especially beneficial for the heart. And for that reason, it is very smart to get more than one form of magnesium, because when you do, you'll have a broader effect on the body and be able to help more things at one time. And this is why I absolutely love our high impact magnesium product known as Relax, because it's a blend of different forms of magnesium, and it also combines herbs in it that help our bodies relax and rest, as well as supporting that healthy elimination. I've tried a lot of products because I've had a lot of trouble with elimination and with sleeping and with relaxation in general. And this is by far my favorite because it blends all of those factors in one product. How much should you take of the Relax? So most people are going to take 2 to 3 at night and increase their dose if they want to see better results. Now, why at night? Because at night, you want to relax, you want to sleep. And if we give the body that extra magnesium, it helps with that. And it also leads to being able to eliminate in the morning. And that is by design a kind of mimicking a natural rhythm for the body. If you need to use more, you can use as much as you need to get the results you want. Some people use up to 6 a day. You know, especially if you have a bunch of these other symptoms that we already talked about, like they're in this list or this list, you may need more. I like to use more if all of a sudden I feel a headache coming on for some reason, or any sort of cramping, or just any sort of tension. So this product is really easy to use. If you're taking that 2 to 3, use it at night. If you're taking more than that, you can start spreading them out through the day. I still would take a couple at night, and you can take the other 2 or 3 whenever it works into your schedule. So that could be with breakfast, that could be in the middle of the day. That really is up to you. Now, the Relax is a product that will be coming to Top Shelf later. I don't have an ETA on that. I don't think it will be super soon, but you can get it currently at wellnesssprings.inc.com, which is my website. So if you want to pick that up, that's where you can find it now. And now I want to talk about what if you're doing the magnesium and that's not cutting it. That's not proving to be enough. Because if you're starting out from a place of a lot of constipation or a lot of health issues, sometimes you're taking a lot of magnesium and you're still kind of behind, and you need something to work quickly to eliminate some pain and discomfort, right? And elimination is so important that honestly, I'd encourage you to do whatever, of course, within reason, is necessary to get that elimination flowing, because so many times people don't feel well until they do. And so even if you have to use your magnesium and take some extra supporting products like an herbal laxative like the Lax product, go ahead and do that. I'd way rather you do that than stay stuck with any sort of constipation, because especially if you're trying to detox your liver or your kidneys or anywhere in your body, you're going to feel so awful and have so many more herxing reactions if your digestion is slow than if it's not. So I really, really encourage you to start with the magnesium because it's the body's number one thing that it needs for healthy elimination. And it'll help you with all that other long list of health concerns that I mentioned. But also, if you need even more help, this is where the Lax is an amazing, amazing product from Top Shelf. This one has extra magnesium. It has some of that extra magnesium citrate, which magnesium citrate is particularly good at helping to flush the digestive tract. There's not a lot in it, but it does provide some extra on top of what you're already getting through the Relax. It's also got some of the magnesium glycinate, which helps a little bit more with the muscle portion of this. There are herbs in it that support digestion. For example, cardamom really helps to kind of push things through the digestive tract, helps them to be absorbed better and as well as break down better. And then we've got some things that are just known detoxers like buckthorn, barberry root, dandelion root, and of course our trademark ginger, turmeric, and garlic that is actually in this product. So this is a product that acts as both a detox helper, helping with elimination, and also actually supports digestion. So I love this product. This one is kind of taken on an as-needed basis. If you're dealing with a lot of constipation, I would take this one at night as well, along with your Relax, just so you can, again, kind of push things through at night while you're resting, so that when you wake up, it's time for elimination. And you're going to adjust this one based on need. Most people are going to start with about 2 capsules. If you need more support, feel free to go up. There's no harm. This is not a product that's going to cause you problems. And you can just adjust up and down. You know, when you get to the point of where there's more elimination than you'd like, that's probably a good sign to slow down. So take this product as needed. If you're someone that is recovering from a health issue or has had long-term constipation, you may need to take 1 or 2 capsules on a regular basis for some time as we work on healing the digestive tract and rebuilding it, which is going to be the focus of video number 4. So don't be afraid to do that. Now, what happens if we are doing a cleanse, let's say a kidney cleanse or a liver cleanse, or we've been sick or something's gone wrong and we're doing the Relax, we're doing the Lax, and we're still just, things are not moving, because this happens sometimes. And there's a couple of other things I want to mention to you that are extremely helpful, that are over the counter, that I'd rather you do than go to the emergency room, because these are going to mimic some of the things that they might do in the emergency room. So heat. And this works wonders. I know before I tried it, I kind of made fun of it and was like, yeah, really, couldn't help that much, until I tried it. And I was shocked, because heat stimulates muscle movement and stimulates the release of stool. And it's really, really quite effective. So if you're someone that has constipation on any kind of regular basis, or you have small children, I would hugely encourage you to go out and get a rubber hot water bottle if you don't have one already, and use this whenever your stomach is hurting. Again, we've had people go to the emergency room and they had to wait, and they were there because of constipation. They were in a lot of pain, and someone told them about using heat. They went and got some hot water, like from the coffee machine, use that, and actually were able to move things enough that they went home without being seen. That's how effective heat can be. And especially for babies, this is a wonderful soothing agent that you can use to help them when they've got that stomach upset. And again, adults are just bigger babies, so don't overlook that. Now, the other thing that I love, and this actually incorporates the heat thing as well as extra support with elimination. I love the Smooth Move tea. This brings on some senna, some peppermint, some licorice root, some fennel, all things that, again, help push what's stuck through. And if I'm using this product, I absolutely love to add a drop of ginger essential oil or peppermint essential oil to further help digestion. I'll just drop it on the tea bag when I'm steeping the tea. And again, you're going to use as much as you need. Sometimes I've had to use this if I've been doing a fast, or occasionally if I've been really sick and, not eating, so things aren't moving very well. So this is a great product that you can find Amazon, your local health food store. Really great product. It comes in a few different flavors. I like the peppermint one just because peppermint helps to soothe the digestive tract further. The other thing you can do is make your own tea with our ginger, or even our ginger, turmeric, and muscadine, the GTM Heirloom Botanicals product. This makes a great tea. Just open it up. You can sweeten it to taste. And you've got all those great ingredients already in there. And in both the Smooth Move tea and the ginger tea, again, we're bringing on that heat element, as well as doing herbs that make a difference in the digestive tract's ability to move. Now, if you are in the situation where you're so constipated that you're worried about a bowel obstruction, and this is where you're going to have to use your own common sense about whether you need emergency care or not, because when we reach this point, it can very quickly become an emergency. But one of the things that you can do at home is magnesium citrate. Now, magnesium citrate isn't really going to help your brain or your heart or store in your muscles, but what it will do is help to turn that hard stool liquid. And that, of course, is going to make it much easier to pass. So that's actually the goal here, is if we're worried about an obstruction, is to turn it liquid so that we can get rid of the obstruction, everything can pass through, right? So a great product that you can use for this, you can use any magnesium citrate you can find. I like the Now brand, the powder. It doesn't taste very good. And if you want a nice tasting one, the Calm brand of magnesium drinks are flavored and very easy to find pretty much anywhere. Again, Amazon or your health food stores. Those can be a great one to take. How much? Use it until things are flushing correctly. Again, you're probably going to have to go all the way to the stage of diarrhea to clear out everything and get it flushing, but I can assure you that feels a whole lot better than having an obstruction, and you know what I'm talking about if you've ever faced this situation. And again, I'm going to encourage you to use common sense as to when you might need help. But even if you go to the emergency room, the first thing they're going to do is their version of this is basically a giant magnesium flush to see if they can take care of this without having to do surgery or without having to do an enema. They're going to do something like milk of magnesia, which is a whole bunch of magnesium first. So this is the way you can do that at home and see if you can avoid that trip to the hospital. Now, I want to talk about what not to do. And this, again, kind of goes against mainstream wisdom. Do not, and again, I repeat, do not use extra fiber, especially if you have any kind of digestive issues. This is such a myth. Fiber does not help move things if you're missing magnesium. Fiber creates bulk, but if you're already constipated, more bulk doesn't even make sense. And I can assure you, they will never give you whole wheat toast or any sort of fiber when you go into the ER. They will always give you magnesium as their first line of defense, which kind of says maybe that's what you should be doing at home. Also, fiber, if you have any sort of digestive issues, any sort of IBS, leaky gut, Crohn's, celiac, ulcerative colitis, fiber acts almost like a steel brush on the digestive tract and creates more damage. If I've got someone with digestive issues, I actually have them avoid fiber until we can heal the digestive tract, and we have them cook their vegetables because the nutrients are easier to digest and the fiber won't be scratching the very delicate digestive tract. I don't want you doing fiber if you're having trouble eliminating. It's only going to make matters worse. Do use clay instead of activated charcoal. Why? Clay is a much more gentle binder and actually can help people that are dealing with constipation, whereas activated charcoal triggers a lot more constipation for most people. In fact, if I've got excessive diarrhea, I probably would use activated charcoal to start slowing it down because it's going to work more effectively than clay. But if I've got the other issue, don't even think about using activated charcoal, especially again, if you're someone with sensitive digestion and digestive issues, because it just creates a lot of problems. The clay will be a lot better at helping to deal with Herx reactions, pulling toxins without increasing constipation. And as I already said, most people tell us that using the clay actually makes their constipation issues better. And part of it's because it's helping to make those toxins more inert. So there's not as much inflammation and there's not as much of a reaction in the gut. And it's just easier and smoother to push everything out. Now, I'm also not a fan of enemas for a lot of reasons, one of which is purely mechanical. So I'm going to show you the digestive tract here again. So if we look at this, we have the colon, which loops up and around the small intestine. So it starts on the right side, goes up, and then goes kind of under the breast area all the way across, and then down, and then that's where it exits on the left side. And when you do an enema, what you're doing is you're going up that very bottom part of the colon, but only a little ways. And you have the same problem actually with colonics. You can't actually reach very far into this very long colon. Well, what if the stool is stuck way high in the colon or even in the small intestine or even up by the stomach? Well, you're not going to reach it going in from the bottom. There's a reason that that isn't nature's path of elimination. When I take something in from my stomach, I'm coming from the top and I'm pushing all the way from the top, all the way through the system, out through the bottom. So this is why you're going to get far more detox and far more stool out if you can restore function coming in from the top. Now, there are a few situations where it becomes so extreme that as an emergency measure, maybe we have to unblock the bottom. So I'm not saying there's never a place for it, but I want you to be aware of some of the dangers with enemas. One of the biggest ones are the electrolyte shifts. And even in an emergency room setting, or in a colonic setting, if you have a staff that knows what they're doing, they're watching for electrolyte shifts, because when an enema is done, it triggers a very rapid change in the electrolyte balance in the colon and small intestine. And a lot of times it drains potassium very, very quickly. And if you're someone that has electrolyte problems, you have trouble staying hydrated, you have kidney issues, you have heart problems, this can actually be fatal. Because if there is a dip in potassium, the heart can actually stop beating. So this is not a small issue to be concerned about. Enemas work fantastically for some people. But again, if you're someone that's got more health issues, more digestive issues, I really, really encourage you to try and steer clear of it and see if we can solve this problem with some of the other strategies that we've already talked about. Because again, even in the hospital setting, they're going to be hopefully watching for this. They may be giving you IV potassium and other electrolytes when they're doing this. And I've seen the same thing happen with colonics. And again, unfortunately, there's been some deaths from it. While there can be a lot of health benefits, it's just something you got to be aware of. If you're going to do any of this, I would definitely encourage you to really be replacing electrolytes really heavily, especially potassium. The other thing that I don't like about enemas or colonics is that they mess up that delicate microbiome or probiotic balance in the gut. And it's not a good system. It's better to do it using the tools that nature gave us if we can. So hopefully that gives you some insight into what we can do to keep everything flushing through, keep that lower part of the detox system flowing, so that when we go into doing a liver cleanse, a gallbladder cleanse, a kidney cleanse, you can feel as good as possible, and it can be so much easier. And this is so critical to your overall health and vitality and just how you feel every day. And that brings us to the end of how we keep it moving through the digestive tract. Our next video, video number 4, is going to be how we maintain a healthy digestive tract and how we rebuild it, especially if you're someone that's got food allergies or celiac or has been dealing with long-term constipation or maybe just not paying attention to your diet. That's what we're going to talk about next. And you can find us at our YouTube channel. It's listed there. Podbean, where all the podcast episodes are listed. This episode will be on both YouTube and Podbean, our Top Shelf Nutra Telegram channel, and any other of our links that you want to check out. All these links will be posted in the show notes and resources on Podbean and in the description on YouTube. And with that, I want to thank you so much for listening to this episode. Hopefully it taught you something new. And we will see you again soon for our next episode.